Well, hello, this is Charlie Pellerin again. It's March the 10th, 2021. We're here in our rental house in Lafayette, Colorado, since our residence burned down in October. And I'm continuing these YouTube videos. I hope you find these fun. I like providing this information. I'm going to go to share screen now. And this is episode 5. And I'm going to talk about a few interesting ideas, I think. I've mentioned this before, but I think the notion of context fields is one of the most interesting things that I've ever come across. And these affect behaviors just like physical fields, magnetism and gravity affect ferromagnetic materials or ordinary matter. And I'm going to show you that failure to measure and manage these is the root cause of many terrible disasters. It's an incredible fact, but nobody thinks about this, nobody knows about this. And I'm going to submit this could have remarkable meaning for almost everything we do. Fundamentally, let's go down to first principles. The root here is our tribalism. You see it most often and most vividly in the US in politics. And this is a little thing of evolution. And this I think is important because this ends with artificial intelligence. I suspect that's the end state of our planet. In fact, I think AI robots will replace us almost certainly within 20 years. Digging deeper into what's first principles again, it's our human needs, our need to feel appreciated, our need to feel included. And both of these require tribes to meet them. We can't do these on our own. This is a really interesting process. People ask me where I got this. I don't know. I may have seen it in a book someplace. I don't have any idea. I tend to think I just think these things up, but maybe that's not right. I call it AMBR, and this can get you what you want. The first thing you do is you focus your attention, a very limited resource and very powerful. Then you choose your mindset, and we're going to learn to manage our mindsets by our choices of thoughts we choose to run, so I'm going to call storylines, and emotions we choose to experience. And there's 5 emotion groups: glad, mad, sad, scared, and love. And this can actually manage, as I'll show you later, your state of being. People ask me, how do I deal with burnout and stress? The answer is you manage your state of being. This is not hard to do. This supports behavior. Mindset precedes behavior, supports it, take action, and gets results, creating a feedback loop. This is really a good way to get things that you want. And I find it's particularly useful to address unfortunate realities, which we tend to want to ignore. With the mindset of 100% commitment, that means whatever it takes to get the outcome, and that will get amazing results. A simple, how should I say, reduction in this process. We're going to be going through the workshop, and I'm going to be charting our progress with this chart. And the reason I like this is that this shows us going up a 45-degree line, combining specific expertise, as there's lots of experiential exercises here, with the 40 systems processes. So this makes every workshop completely unique. And as we fill our toolbox, we're going to look at this idea of social context. I'm going to make a remarkable claim, and I'm going to back this up with data, as you'll see. But I believe the root cause of Challenger's deadly explosion, which killed the astronauts and set back space around the world for years, was a result not of a technical error, but a social context failure. In this case, blind obedience to authority, people doing what management told them to do when they knew better. Hubble's flawed mirror, a similar cause. In this case, the contractor got so much criticism from us and everyone else about their overruns that they stopped telling us about vexing technical problems that they weren't sure were real, that had we known, we could have prevented this. Korean Airlines, this fascinates me, crashed at 17 times international norms. It went on for 4 years. What was the mistake they made? They assumed it was about technical abilities and not social context. But the root cause was inappropriate deference to higher authority. Never should have done. And the worst disaster in aircraft history, Tenerife Island, the same thing. second officer warned the pilot the first time he was doing something wrong after he was kind of I guess, visually chastised. He didn't do it again, and they ran into a 747 parked on the runway. The second worst train crash in Tokyo's history. Guy made a mistake. Instead of to avoid this horrible punishment that they call rehabilitation, he tried to negotiate with the conductor to not report it when it went late. Then, to avoid punishment again, oversped and derailed the train. And this is even more incredible. The explosion of Fukushima Daiichi. I just saw it today. They're still trying to do something with the contaminated water. The chairman of the failure review board emailed me because we have a mutual friend in Tokyo University. He told me it was man-made and avoidable. And more recently, the 737 MAX crashes. The Boeing management asked good technical people to do stupid things, and they ultimately did. Here's what this is about. We have online tools that are very simple that can diagnose these things reliably and accurately. And once you do that, the remedy is incredibly trivial. So I'm claiming all these could have been avoided. What they made the same error. Everyone made the same error. They paid all their attention, because attention is this precious resource, on individuals' academic and technical abilities, and they ignored the social context that they were creating. This is very easy to learn. In our time together, you will know everything one needs to know about measuring and managing social contexts. So what about my extraordinary claims? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I heard this first from Carl Sagan, and it impressed me. Then I realized he might have gotten this from the French mathematician Laplace, who said much earlier, the weight of evidence for an extraordinary claim must be proportioned to its strangeness. Or even earlier from the British philosopher, mathematician, David Hume, a wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. Next, we're going to move up the line, and we're going to look at emotions and storylines and how those together form mindsets. And there are three diagnostics: the personality diagnostic, which I always do; the culture, which I do sometimes. It doesn't take very long, but its application is most powerful with proposals. And most of the public workshops that I do, people don't understand proposal writing. And the third one is really interesting. It's about project team mindset. And if you don't understand project management, this won't make any sense to you. We'll move through the 8 context setting behaviors, the meat of this whole thing, addressing our deep needs first to feel appreciated, learn to authentically appreciate and address shared interests, the need to feel included. We're going to learn how to appropriately include others and keep our agreements, which helps support good relationships. We're going to learn to create with focus by the same process I showed you before, addressing unfortunate realities with 100% commitment. And finally, to respond to what's happening. And the way we lose our capacity to respond is with drama. So we're going to learn how to diagnose and exit drama states reliably, and then choosing to be accountable. That's a choice. So early on in workshops, I got a lot of feedback from participants. Every night, I do a plus delta with a 3x5 card. Plus, what worked for you today, delta, what would improve your experience tomorrow. And early on, the delta that I got most often was, we want the workshop to be about us, not a generic workshop. So to address that, I took the context shifting worksheet, which I've been using for some years anyway, integrated into the workshop. And so people process a real presenting dilemma throughout the workshop with this tool. And it does 2 things. They leave with an action plan to address something that previously looked impossible to deal with. And secondly, learn how to use this very easy worksheet, which in about 1 hour can totally shift the way you see a problem. So we're going to take a break here and move into the next section, which is about agreements, negotiating workshop agreements. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day, and see you around the bend with the next. And I will stop here.